Hello and welcome to the second Melodyne video lecture. Today's lecture, again, brought to you by the wonderful SM7B. We are going to focus on backgrounds since now we're getting into backgrounds this week. The nice thing about this session, we're going to tune doubles, we're going to tune octaves, both a high and a low octave, so you'll have those examples to listen to for your background identification. For harmony, we're actually going to create our own harmony. So we will be dealing with everything, doubles, octaves, harmony. You could even almost argue there's a little bit of a response, call and response feel in this chorus. Maybe not the perfect example of it, but there is a little ABAB going on in this track. And we'll talk about a little bit about vocal arrangement as well. We'll be flying some vocals, cutting in and out some ad-libs. We have ad-libs, so almost all the background types are in the session. The only one I unfortunately didn't include was the textures. I guess I'll have to get some oohs and ahs in here somewhere. But anyway, we're going to be mainly tuning backgrounds. So if we're going to let's just first start out looking at the double. We've tuned some doubles before. You're going to be putting up multiple instances of Melodyne in this session. So hopefully an error will occur or a hiccup, so I can show you guys how to fix that if you're having problems having a couple instances of Melodyne in your session. You might want to check your playback engine. I do have mine jacked up to my buffer up to 512 because I might be running a few more plugins. So you might want to turn your buffer up a little bit if you're getting some errors stopping playback because you maybe are using too much processing power. But hopefully we won't have any problems like that. Let's see what happens. So this double here, let's go ahead and grab our Melodyne. Remember, Melodyne, we don't want anything before the plugin, and we simply hit transfer. One thing that could alleviate some problems, let's go do this right now, preferences. Let's go detect audio after transfer. That's one thing that might slow down your system and cause errors when you load in to Melodyne. Let's go ahead and turn that on. And that means it's not going to analyze any of the audio. It's just going to record it in. Once it's finished recording, then it'll pause, analyze, and then split your notes apart onto the piano scroll. So let's turn on that preference. That might help us out. I already do have a couple instances of Melodyne loaded already. So this is my third instance. So hopefully we don't run into any trouble. We have an arm. Let's go ahead and play her in. Where are we at? Here we go.
Like the whole world revolves around you. It's not about you. Yeah. It shows in every little thing that you do. It's not about you.
Okay, so we're going to tune these two response doubles here. It looked like it loaded in just fine, so definitely that helped my system because before when I was loading in, I was getting couple of hiccups here. So I think doing that detect audio after the transfer helped. Okay, so you guys should know the drill here. Let's use a Command Shift to reposition on the screen. Let's turn down the waveform height. I don't like seeing it that big. Option Command to zoom in. First step, always what? Let's go to our separator tool and let's separate out unvoiced consonants and double notes in the melody. So like right here, we have two notes. We can separate that already. There's a couple notes. That's kind of crazy. Let's hear what that is. Do some of that. Okay, let's listen to this line.
Like the whole world revolves around you.
Okay, I probably want to listen to just this line here. Let's get this muted. Is there anything else going on? Oh, the lead vocal. The lead vocal up here. Let's go ahead and just mute that. Well, actually, let's tune to the lead vocal. So I have just my first double track here we're listening to, as well as the lead vocal. So we'll tune to that. Make sure we listen to a reference track when we tune these backgrounds up. You don't want to tune them solo and then listen against your lead vocal and be like, wow, they don't match up at all. So definitely monitor with the background against the guide track, either the lead vocal or whatever the main track you're tuning against. So here we are.
Like the whole world revolves around you.
Oh yeah, we got some issues here. It looks like she's definitely sharp on a few notes. Definitely those notes there. Any unvoiced consonants going on?
Like the whole world revolves around you.
Little S there. She adds kind of that J sound at the beginning of you. Is that
around you?
Right there, that Jew, right? Okay, separate those out. And then we can start tuning up. So, whoops, wrong tool. So my main pitch tool, we're just going to...
Like Like the whole world revolves around. Like the whole world revolves.
Let's solo that up against our lead vocals. Let's just hear the lead and our high octave.
Like the whole world revolves around you.
We're not quite there yet. You hear some rubbing going on.
It's not about you. Like the whole world revolves around you. Like the whole world.
Whole sounds strange to me, doesn't it to you?
Like the whole. Like the whole world revolves around.
There we go. So that was she was almost a. Let's go back to where this originally was. So if I right click, reset center, that's where it was. So it was actually really flat.
Like the whole world.
Like the whole, and she needed to get right to that.
Like the whole world.
Right? So she started flat, and that really rubbed with the lead vocal.
Like the whole world revolves around.
All right, she's still a little sharp here. Maybe let's separate that part. There we go.
Like the whole world revolves around. Like the whole world revolves.
Oh, there's my little error. Sorry about that. Yeah, I've been having some hiccups with, right now I'm running 5 instances of Melodyne. That's probably not smart. I could try to see if this helps. The other resolution would be actually work off a faster hard drive. I'm going off the internal drive on my laptop, and that might be another problem that I'm encountering.
Like the whole world revolves around you.
It's not bad.
Like the whole world revolves around.
The thing is, you don't want to over-tune it. You don't want to tune it to death, because then you're going to lose some of that awesome chorusing, the difference in pitch and time between the 2 tracks. Now, it's just kind of a production call of how much you need to tighten this up. And my recommendation is don't overdo it. Make sure you listen to the track and make sure it doesn't sound like a robot or sound electronic. We want to keep the track sounding natural.
Like the whole world revolves around you.
It's a little sharp on that revolve. There's that V there. I might want to separate that. Not much pitch on that.
Like the whole world revolves around you.
Sounds pretty good. Here, let's bypass it. This is without the tuning on the double.
Like the whole world revolves around you.
Really hear some rubbing right there in the beginning.
Like the whole world revolves around you.
And here is the tuning again.
Like the whole world revolves around you.
Sounds pretty good. I mean, if you need to tighten that up more, if you feel like it sounds better, if you work at it a little more, that's fine with me. Just remember, this needs to sound all natural and musical when we listen at the end. When I judge your session, when you send it back, I want to hear nice, clean tuning going on. So now you could unsolo your lead and then tune the double to this background one to this track. We could just solo these together. So you would load this guy in and tune it using your ear, making sure it matches with the double. Then you're going to do the same thing for the high octave. We have a high octave here. Let's go ahead and unsolo here. Here's my high octaves.
Like the whole world revolves around you.
So she's getting up there. She's getting pretty high with that one. So there's definitely going to be some tuning issues on that one. And then you'll lastly do the low octave as well.
It's not about you. Yeah.
All right. So the 3 different ranges there in her voice, and you'll see that sometimes Melodyne reacts differently to those different tones produced by the different ranges. So now a new concept we're getting into in the second homework that we did not do in the first. A lot of times when you're finished with Melodyne, if you're collaborating with somebody, if you're going to send this to your buddy in Atlanta, and guess what? He doesn't have Melodyne. You're going to have to do one of 2 things. You're either going to have to have him install the demo of Melodyne so he can actually play back your Melodyne. That's the cool thing about the Melodyne plugin. If somebody doesn't own it and you open a session with Melodyne in it, if you install the demo, Melodyne will let you play it back with the pitch correction. It just won't let you edit it. Okay, so that's kind of a cool tip. But what if the guy wants to edit it? Then he's going to have Melodyne. Otherwise, if you want to send somebody to tune tracks, they don't have Melodyne, we either have to do one of 2 things. We have to print or we can commit using Pro Tools. The printing to me is a little more old school, a little more archaic anymore. I don't really want to get into it in this class, but printing would simply be taking the background double, routing it to a new track. So take the output, put it down a mono bus, create a new track, set the input to the same bus, make sure your fader's at unity, and you print it, record it to a new track. That takes real time. It's just a waste of time in my opinion anymore. I would rather use the Pro Tools function, this new function that came along in Pro Tools 12. That's the commit function. So if I was finished with my Melodyne here, and this is what you're going to be doing in the homework, all we simply have to do is once we're finished tuning this and we like the sound of it, you are going to right click and you're going to hit commit. And commit, what this is going to do, it's going to bounce the audio through the pitch changes that you did, and it's going to throw that clip on a new track, and it's going to hide and make inactive. So we have hide and make inactive the old track. So this old track with the Melodyne instance will be hidden and inactive. It's there if we need to do more tuning. And the new track will be our new master with the clips. We can consolidate if we want. You can bring over automation, sends, all that business. We don't really need any of that. All we need is the track with the clip coming over to a new track. So once I hit OK, it has now bounced the tuning through the Melodyne plugin, and notice it adds a .cm, so that means it's a commit track. So if we look at our track list, look above this one, there's the one that we hid. We could just show that again if I needed to get back to the Melodyne. So that's an important step that's a little different in this homework. You're going to be using the commit function, okay? Did I just get rid of the wrong one? I sure did. So that's basically the first few steps. You're going to go through and tune these up. That should be nothing new to you. So make sure you're doing the commit, because otherwise I don't know if your computer at home can handle 8-10 instances of Melodyne. If you're running a Mac Tower or a Mac trash can, sure, you probably got a powerful computer and you can put up 20 instances. But with my laptop, mine, I've tested it, it freaks out once I put up more than 6. If I get to 7, 8 inserts of Melodyne, that's where my computer starts to freak. Maybe you have a little more luck. I have a 2015 Mac laptop. You guys might be on the newer ones. I'm not sure. But like I said, make sure you're doing 2 tracks at a time as the instructions tell you to do, and make sure you're committing as you're going, okay? So yeah, you guys are going to tune up all these backgrounds, and then after that, the next step will be creating a harmony. So the harmony instructions, let's just look really quick. So tune your doubles, tune your octaves. There's our harmony, step 4. So the lead vocal chorus, left and right. Let's go ahead. You know what? Just to help me out here, because I have these different instances of Melodyne, I'm just going to deactivate these real quick. Whoops. There we go. Right click, make inactive. And I'll bring those back when we work on them. So to create a harmony, it says to go to this track, the lead vocal chorus, and this works out really nice. Harmony creation is a total art form in Melodyne. It's one of the big selling points of this plugin. There's people that make a living off just creating harmonies for people. And this can also be really cool in the tracking session. If you're working with a background vocalist that cannot track backgrounds, that cannot come with harmonies, you can create your own harmonies within Melodyne and then play them back to her or him and have them duplicate what you came up with and actually sing them for real. Or if they just can't sing them, we'll just create them with this. And you'll hear that it sounds a little electronic once we pitch shift it, but mixed back into the track, I'd have a hard time telling that somebody created it as long as you did it well. So with this one, we're going to kind of take the easier route of creating the harmony instead of, okay, let me do this again. I'm not doing this correct. Let's get rid of it. What I tell you to do in the instructions is to simply just duplicate these 2 tracks. We need the active playlist to come along this time. So click active playlist. And now we get these 2 new tracks, and these will be the harmony tracks. What did I tell you to call them? LVCH harm left and right. So basically these 2 new dupes can be LVCH harm left. We can copy that. Command arrow to go to the next track, paste that in, and this will be the right. So these 2, let's get them all same height here. That will drive me crazy. Okay, so these 2 will be the harmonies that we're going to create. So I just need 2 instances of Melodyne. So let's get Melodyne back up. I can always transfer. I can option drag, copy that plugin down, hit the transfer button. I think that setting should still be there. Yeah, detect. I should have you guys always do that. Okay, so it's going to detect the audio after we load it in. So let's go ahead and load in. I'm just going to load in one just to save time, but you guys are going to load in all four and create the harmony for all four. Okay, so let's just load in this first one.
About you, it's not about you. Yeah.
Okay, so this way, why I said earlier I'm doing the easy way is I'm taking the exact same audio and I'm going to just pitch this up and down. If you want to do this the real, what I consider the real way, you should cut up a double, create a double, and then load that in and pitch it up and down. Because the cool thing about the double is you're now getting that natural variance in time between the two takes. With this, it's going to be phase locked between the two takes because this is the exact same audio. So it makes the performance sound a touch more electronic or robotic because it is the exact same audio. So really, if you have extra takes, go through and build a double and then load that into Melodyne. You'll get even a more human result from that. But this will sound pretty good too. So now that I had these loaded in, we do not have time to go through all the tenets of music theory, right? Music theory, your absolute favorite thing. I'm not going to start talking, sharps and flats and all that good stuff with you. But one thing you probably do want to know is just some basic intervals. With harmony creation in pop music, a lot of times it's going to be a minor third, a major third, maybe a perfect fourth, maybe we have a fifth in there. But this is my little trick. If you don't know a lot about harmony or theory, don't worry. If you got an ear, you can definitely do this. Now, my trick is it's basic pop harmony. Let's just simply select all this. Let's keep it on the pitch grid. Let me turn that off real quick. So let's turn our pitch grid on so it moves it by semitones. And we can do this just with the main pitch tool. Just pick a note, say this B flat here. And what I say a lot of times is go a minor third or a major third up from a note that you pick, and then listen to the whole line. A minor third, a lot of times, a lot of the notes will line up, and you'll have to find what the blue notes are, the ones that don't match at a minor third, because parallel melody and harmony don't always work together. They need to move at different intervals sometimes to work within the chord structure. So if I move this all by a minor third, there's probably going to be a note or two that doesn't sound right. Or if it all sounds kind of bad, try a major third and fix those blue notes. So if I'm on a B flat, a minor third would be an E flat, right? No, I just said that wrong. A D flat. I'm sorry. So B flat to D flat, minor third. Okay, so let's listen to this.
It's not about you. Yeah.
Not bad, huh? Let's just solo these up together. So this is the one I moved. Let's listen to it against this guy, right?
It's not about you. Yeah.
It works. It's not always the perfect harmony. Like maybe we wouldn't always do parallel like this, but it's really close. This part I would say is the blue note, the yeah.
It's not about you. Yeah.
Yeah, see how that isn't in the key? So what we could try doing, then simply, if you find the blue note, just simply go up or down a step. Let me bring this down. This drives me crazy, the waveform height. There we go. So
yeah.
Let's try a minor third, see if that sounds better. I'm sorry, let's bring it down a half step and see if that sounds better.
It's not about you. Yeah.
Nope, that was the wrong way. Let's try going up.
Yeah. It's not about you. Yeah.
That works. Now, the thing is, you probably have to tune this up a little bit to get it to match the intonation of the lead vocal. So I'm not going to bore you with that right now. You guys are the ones that need to be doing the tuning. So, we could get in here and,
it's not about you.
Fix this up a little bit.
Not about you. It's not about you.
Okay, then you'd have to go do the same thing to the second harmony. We did that first harmony, brought that up a minor third. We could do that with this one as well. So minor third, I'm looking over here, B flat. That's a B flat there. Get my pitch grid on. D flat.
It's not about you.
And you'll have to fix that yeah on this one as well. So that's what you need to do. You need to create your harmony for these 4 lines. Once you create the harmony, then we can look at this other tool that we haven't played with yet. And this is known as the formant tool. The formant tool is also known as throat length. That's what Autotune actually calls it. And throat length, it emulates stretching and squeezing your larynx, your vocal cords. So like if you were ever a kid and you sucked in a balloon of helium. You ever done that trick? You do the helium, you suck it in, and all of a sudden you sound like, you sound like a clown or something. That's because your vocal cords get restricted. The size of the larynx actually shrinks, affects the tone of your voice. Same thing if I were to stretch the larynx. If I stretch my throat or stretch the larynx, I can make, basically it's the same pitch, but it's a different tone. You're stretching the larynx and producing something more bassy. So if I were to do that, if we listen to our harmony.
It's not about you.
Because the thing is, we moved that pitch to a different spot where the throat would have been in a different position singing something that high. So we can select this and we change the tone of it.
It's not about you.
If we wanted to fill it out a little more, I could bring the tone down. I can bring the tone up.
It's not about you.
So a little goes a long ways. Because she went up, I'm going to try bringing the formant up a little bit.
It's not about you.
And it can make it sound a little more human or a little more of the tone it would have been if she had sang it this high. So this is something you can tweak a little bit to make a little bit more believable of a harmony. But let's use it for something more fun. Let's actually turn these off right now. I'm just conserving my CPU here. Let's look at these two guys that I deactivated earlier. Because this is in a later step. I want you guys to have some fun just creating some weird effects on these bridge vocals here. So we have a little verse here in the middle. Oh, on solo. I'm a little clunky on Pro Tools today. I don't have my mouse. I'm working on the trackpad, so I apologize.
Yeah.
So you guys probably haven't heard this yet.
A little bit. No, I gotta let you go. Know what you think about. It really ain't about you. Let you know. Let me know. I'll be coming through.
All right, so we listen to a lot of popular music today, modern music. You'll hear the formant effect sometimes. So I've loaded this verse into Melodyne for you already. Let's go ahead and get there to the end. There it is. And I just want you guys, I didn't really give much instruction in this step. I just want you guys to get creative and have a little fun with this. You can do a lot of stuff with the format tool. We could
A little bit. No, I gotta let you go.
maybe like this word go. I can grab the format,
Go. You know I gotta let you go.
right? We can get into just kind of changing the vibe a little bit of a few of these words.
You know I gotta let you go. Know what you think about. Go. Know what you think about. It really ain't about you. Let you know. Let me know. I'll be coming.
Now, when we listen to them all together, let's play with, I got another set here, these guys. And again, no directions. You don't have to do it on this lead track. You can do formant effects on this track. You can do them on this track. I want you guys to get into cutting it up too. If you don't want all of these in here for the entire breakdown, go ahead, be my guest, and select and separate and Command M to mute a clip. But just showing you this guy here.
Think about it. It really ain't about you. Let you know. Let me know. I'll be coming through. Ain't really with the word of mouth. Take your time. Take your time.
So we have the second track here.
Go. Think about you.
Kind of in and outs, right? Kind of a sort of a double, only doing a couple words here and there. I mean, we could have some fun. We could say, hey, let's keep the first few normal and then select these and maybe just pitch them down. Let's get our main pitch tool. Let's hear it together.
Think about it. It really ain't about you. Let you know. Let me know. I'll be coming through. Ain't really with the word of mouth. Take your time. Take your time. You look around.
Turn that up for you so we can hear it a little better.
Think about it. It really ain't about you. Let you know. Let me know. I'll be coming through. Ain't really with the word of mouth. Take your time. Take your time. You look around. Yeah.
Right there, I kind of created my own harmony. I didn't even mean to. I meant to do it as more of an effect. I could take it and, we could just randomize it. We can. I don't think I have this soloed. That's why we're not. There we go.
One. Lies you. One on out. One of those.
Right. I mean, that's a little corny, but this other part kind of worked out pretty cool between the two.
Think about it. It really ain't about you. Let you know. Let me know. I'll be coming through. Ain't really with the word of mouth. Take your time. Take your time. You look around. Yeah.
Right. You can create a harmony there, or if we want to do something more drastic, we can have some fun doing the formant. How about back on this lead here?
It really ain't about you. Let you know. No. What you think about? Think about it. It really ain't about you. Let you know. Let me know. I'll be coming through.
You know, we could almost do every other line. I could reset these, right click, reset formants.
It really ain't about you. Let you know. Let me know. I'll be coming through. Ain't really.
You know, just certain phrases.
It really ain't about you. Let you know. Let me know. I'll be coming through. Ain't really with the word of mouth. Take your time. Take your time. You look.
Or we could automate something like this too. Let's talk about automation real quick with Melodyne. Automating with anything on any plugin. If you go to the automation window, we can select it and bring it over to the automation list. So we could do pitch, we could do formant. Why don't we add those? So add pitch, add formant. And then you could have some fun doing it this way. You could just say, hey, let's automate here on the track. If we go, we're in waveform view right now, right? So if we go to Melodyne, here's the pitch. We got a line that we can automate now for the pitch. How about just simply getting your grabber tool out and we do some stuff like this. We can just automate that pitch line. I'm just clicking with the grabber and drawing it in.
Let you know. Let me know. I'll be coming through. Ain't really with the word of mouth. Take your time.
Right, so we can really get out there into outer space with this. Another fun thing with the pitch tools, we can get into doing the different pencil tools. We can create sort of vibrato effects. Now that's going to be based off your grid. So how about instead of a bar grid, I go like eighth note grid. We can go ahead and there we go. How's that going to sound?
Take your time, you look around here and see the way I got you. See the way you're looking now.
So, I mean, we can get really, Melodyne, I know I've been harping on trying to keep things sounding natural throughout when you tune, but another flip side of Melodyne is actually a lot of, progressive music. They use it more as an effect. So there we're automating the pitch line. Remember the pencil tool, you got all kinds of choices. We can go sine wave, random, that can be fun. How about random? Just draw them in.
No, what you think about? Think about it. What about you?
You're gonna have to get a little lucky with that one. What else? What else do we have? So that was doing the pitch line. How about doing formant? This can be fun as well. I'm gonna go with how about sine wave? I'm sorry, triangle wave.
Really want about you. Let me know. I'll be coming through.
That's outer space there. I don't know about you, but that's pretty freaky. We can slow it down if we wanted to. We can go to the grid and go quarter note and get our pencil tool out again. Go wider with it.
With the word of mouth. Take your time. You look around here and see the way I got you. See the way you looking now. A funny analyze you. Real.
Yeah, so really have fun with this. You can automate the formant. We can automate the pitch shift. Another one. This is one that you probably heard before. This is the old modulation tool. This is why I stated in the last lecture, be careful with this tool because a little of this goes a long way. With vibrato, if we go ahead and zoom in, or modulation, this actually affects the pitch line. So I actually could select, let's just Command A, I could select all this audio. If I take the modulation tool and double click, I can remove all the modulation.
Down for a little bit, down for a little bit, down for a little bit. You know I gotta let you go. No, what you think about? About you.
So you can get that kind of robotic sound going, getting rid of any pitch variation within the vocal. So, have at it. I don't care what you guys do. Just try to make it somewhat musical. I want you to be, make it sound good. Don't just give me a bunch of, sci-fi garble, but you can get into flattening this out and then, hey, select all these and pitch them up.
Yeah. Down for a little bit, down for a little bit.
Right? The world is your oyster. So however you want to approach this, it's a really kind of a free step. Now, one thing, I think I'm backtracking, but before you edit the bridge, you're going to be flying all these chorus vocals. So, all right, so getting with the flying the vocals here. So you have to get all 10 vocal tracks. Make sure you have the leads your harmony that you created. This is our doubles and both our octave tracks. So you got 10 tracks we need. So let's group these tracks together. Let's select them all. Command G. We've created an edit group now. Now I can select them all as one. So really the easiest way to go about this is make sure we're in grid mode. We're in 1-bar grid. Find the downbeat. It hits U right on that downbeat. Remember, it doesn't always start on the pickup here. So if I select just 1 bar, copy that, go to the second chorus, click on here. We're still in grid. There's the U, paste that in, and all you have to do, my friend, is trim that out both directions.
It's not about you. Yeah. Like the whole.
So you can see we're nicely in sync. It's got to be in sync, and we got to have all the audio when you fly these over. Remember, there's also relative grid. So in relative grid, we could just easily do this. Let's just grab them with the grabber, option drag. It's still on the grid, but remember, it's keeping that relative distance. I think that's the right spot. Let's see. One late. Bring it over. There we go.
It's not about you. It's not about you. Yeah.
So remember, it keeps it that same relative distance from the downbeat, and we can drop it in sync that way. So really don't care how you go about it. You can copy and paste the whole darn thing, but it has to be on the grid. So if you're struggling with that, please get a hold of me. You're going to have to do this in your final project. Okay, so you'll paste that to the other choruses. You'll play with some ad-libs on the ad-lib track and cut in and out whatever you want for the different choruses. And I think that's about it. Just covering the delivery really quick. Remember, we're going to do a save copy in. You're sending me the whole session back. So just the important thing about this is when we do our save copy in, obviously select all audio files. We can keep the bit and depth the same. Hit OK. Obviously name it what I told you to name it. I'm just going to save this onto my desktop. And if we come back here and look at my messy desktop here, okay, date modified, there we go. So it's right there. The important thing is make sure that Melodyne folder came along. I don't know exactly what version you all are running of Pro Tools, but in previous versions of Pro Tools, it would not grab the Melodyne folder. So it's really important if you're collaborating with somebody on like you are with me, you are save copying in, you're giving me your Melodyne files so I can open up the Melodyne and look at what you did. So it's important. We do save copy in, we get all the audio files, we get the Melodyne folder with all the Melodyne transfers in it. And then you're going to send that back to me. Make sure you name it correctly. And then basically you're just going to right click, compress. And once it's finished compressing, upload that to FSO. So hopefully you got this down. I know we're far along in the program. You got the difference between sending me a PTX, which is just the session file. So those assignments, you just sent the session file, but this one, you're sending the whole kit and caboodle. You're sending me the Melodyne files, audio files, and the PTX back. And when you get that zipped up, it shouldn't be that huge. It should just be, depending on how much you loaded in the Melodyne, I doubt this is going to be more than 200 megs. So let me know if you have any problems. Thanks for watching, and let's get this Melodyne finished up. Thanks.